Welcome to today's video. We will be delving into how Ireland, a country that was once poverty-stricken, became one of the wealthiest nations in the world, from famine to financial prosperity. The story of Ireland's incredible economic turnaround is a fascinating one. In 1847, Ireland was struck by a devastating famine that killed 1 million people, which was 11% of its population. The country was left impoverished, and even after its independence from British rule in 1922, Ireland struggled to keep up with its neighbors. It was not until the 1990s that the country began its miraculous economic turnaround. But how did Ireland become so incredibly rich? Well, in the 1950s, the country began to embrace industrialization under Prime Minister Sean Lemass and economist T.K. Whitaker's Economic Development Plan. State-owned enterprises were privatized, international investment was invited, and trade restrictions gradually eased. As a result, Ireland's economy grew for the first time, and the country started to attract high-quality, high-paying employment opportunities. Ireland joined the EU in 1993 and enjoyed reduced trade rules, lower costs, and large subsidies and developmental loans for education, infrastructure, and human resources. Most importantly, Ireland had a backdoor into the European market for multinational firms to evade tariffs and taxes. Its low corporate tax, well-educated, English-speaking, and cheap-to-hire workforce, and prime location between the US and Europe made it an attractive location for US companies to relocate or expand. This led to massive investment in the country, which created well-paying jobs and led to an increase in salaries and disposable income. However, Ireland's quick expansion depended on US firms, banks, and low loan rates, and its economy was highly globalized. Despite being lower than the European average, income inequality increased and the cost of living skyrocketed. Additionally, the Irish property market bubbled, leading to cheap lending rates and government inaction. The Great Recession of 2007 was devastating for Ireland, which was heavily struck by the US housing market crash that sank the global economy. Dublin houses values fell 56%, widespread defaults sank banks, and corporations laid off large numbers of workers, raising unemployment. The economy shrank by approximately 25%, and the IMF and EU had to bail out Ireland for 67.5 billion euros, 40% of its GDP, as it faced insolvency. However, in the year 2015, an odd event took place. Economists have a strong suspicion that multinational corporations avoided paying taxes in Ireland, which led to a 25.2% increase in the country's GDP in just 1 year. Due to this, Ireland's GDP was artificially inflated, which resulted in international pressure to increase taxes on corporations and eliminate tax techniques. By the year 2020, Ireland had closed all of the major tax loopholes. Therefore, does this suggest that Ireland's special economic privileges have been removed and the multinational corporations that contributed to Ireland's prosperity are departing the country? To be honest, no. Ireland has been the recipient of hundreds of billions of euros worth of infrastructure investments from various companies. Additionally, the workforce in Ireland is known for its high level of education and expertise, which makes it challenging to come across similarly qualified professionals in other regions. Despite the fact that these loopholes have been closed, Ireland continues to be a business-friendly nation, making it an excellent location for global operations. Because there are no other desirable alternatives that are cost-effective, businesses will continue to operate in Ireland. Since the Great Famine in 1847, Ireland's economy has come a long way. Despite the difficulties and setbacks that have been encountered, Ireland has seen a remarkable transition, moving from economic isolation to global integration, thanks to a mix of factors, including policy reforms, foreign investment, and a highly qualified workforce. This amazing change came about as a result of Ireland's inclusion into the global economy. Today, Ireland has major areas of strength that are upheld by a strong innovation area, a tourist industry that is rising, and a population that is profoundly educated. Because of its business-friendly regulations, low corporate tax rate, and talented workforce, Ireland continues to be a center for the global operations of multinational corporations. Ireland has managed to experience an impressive degree of economic prosperity, but it has not been immune to its own unique set of difficulties. Among the issues facing the nation is the increasingly alarming trend of income inequality, which has emerged as a significant worry. Additionally, the elevated cost of living and the potential dangers associated with over-reliance on foreign investment are also pressing concerns that demand attention. To preserve development, Ireland must confront these issues head-on and devise measures that ensure that economic growth benefits all citizens, not just a privileged few. A variety of variables have contributed to the Irish economic's prosperity. The implementation of policy reforms that have established a favorable business environment is one of the main aspects. Furthermore, the government has been successful in attracting substantial foreign investment, which has contributed to fostering growth and innovation. Another important aspect is the Irish workforce's high level of education and expertise, which has allowed the country to create a competitive advantage in numerous industries. These characteristics, when combined, have resulted in Ireland having a rich and growing economy. Ireland's path from being one of the poorest countries owing to famine and poverty to being one of the wealthiest nations is absolutely astounding. As the country continues to adapt to the global economy's problems and possibilities, its experience provides useful lessons for other countries, aiming to achieve long-term economic growth and prosperity.